So I think if the hotel direct channel, i.e. the hotel website, continues to just be a brochure, then customers will take that e-commerce experience elsewhere. They'll still stay in your hotel, but it might cost you 20%.
Welcome to Velocitize Talks. I'm Andy North. I'm joined today by Frank Reeves, co-founder and CEO of Avvio. Frank, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Avvio and your background and your unique value proposition in the market.
So my background is in software engineering, programmer, coder by design, I guess, post-college, interned in New York with one of the big dot-coms at the time. And then almost 18 years ago, decided that I wanted to spin out of Big Co and have a crack at doing some e-commerce and looked around at industries. Hospitality seemed to be really emerging. The early days of big online travel agents. So the value proposition that we thought of back then was, well, maybe we could partner more with the hotel direct channel, i.e. the hotel website. Maybe give them the tools and support they need to compete with the big intermediaries. And we've been head down focused on that ever since.
That's outstanding. Now, Avvio has developed the first AI-powered booking engine called Elora.
Elora, that's right. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that's going.
We really took a step back and thought, look, the next big evolution has to be to get to the guest, right? To be able to really personalize and centralize the booking engine experience based on who the guest is and where they are on their user journey. So that really tipped us toward looking at some machine learning and some AI to really put this iterative recursive learning into the booking engine. Allow it to really understand, study customer journey, understand intent, and to really then try and nurture intent all the way through a booking. And then post-booking pre-stay, growing revenue pre-arrival, trying to minimize cancellations. And that's really a unique approach now in the market where I think the comp set is really stuck in a one-size-fits-all booking engine, so a plug-in, right? So that the challenge that I think hotels have is how do you compete with the major guys in travel when you're stuck with a brochure website and a plug-in booking engine and you just treat every visitor to the same, off the shelf.
Right. How has the online travel agency disrupted the industry? Obviously, it started several years ago when they started being able to book online.
Yeah.
But now it's very democratized and just about anybody can book their own trip.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How has that changed, and what is the next evolution for the travel industry?
So I think that the early days of search, obviously, and SEO and optimization, you couldn't really find a hotel website. All the keywords would just bring back the big intermediaries that had 1,000 pages of content on hotels in London, right? Very basic tagging and sort of optimization. And that really gave the OTAs, the online travel agents, a bit of a head start in that they were the source of the traffic. They have, I think, used that advantage very well with big digital marketing budgets. So over the years, I think the biggest pain point now for hotels is how big those guys have become and the impact on hotel profitability, right? So the average commission to a hotel, if the customer books via a third party, is in the region of 20%. So what you've got now is the intermediaries controlling the lion's share. So that 20% of otherwise profitability has been taken out of the hotel operation and sort of shifted. That's had a very real impact on even the asset class of hotels.
Do you feel like the hotel industry and the travel industry in general has really embraced the full power of digital? Or are we just seeing the tip of the iceberg?
So I think the next evolution for hotels, for those that can take advantage, because paid traffic, paid is a huge source of lead gen to the hotel website. Challenge is you don't convert that, you can't really afford to compete for that traffic going forward, right? There's a lot of AI, a lot of sophisticated e-commerce techniques being deployed by the intermediaries. A brochure website just isn't going to cut it. So for the segment of the industry that has embraced personalization and AI and a real customer-centric online experience, I think the opportunities for them to compete more, be more aggressive, have the budget to compete with the big intermediaries for traffic. Price comparison has been a very, very exciting growth curve in the industry. So sites like Kayak and Trivago and what Google are doing to really help the customer understand all of the different touch points and booking channels, right? Give you multiple price points for your dates. That's expensive traffic, and hotels that can compete there are the hotels that can really convert.
Marketers have been chasing the holy grail of personalization for quite some time now. Do you see that ever becoming a reality in the travel industry?
I think personalization is very much a reality within the intermediary side of the travel industry, right? So let's just pick Booking.com as an example. My experience at Booking.com will be different from yours. My experience post-booking will be different to my experience there pre-booking. We're trying to nurture the hotel experience to deliver something similar. And we're really confident and proud of the results that we've been able to deliver as a result of doing that, when the alternative is just a brochure website. So I think that you can be quite simplistic yet effective on personalization, even differentiating the website visitor who already booked your hotel. Right? They were here yesterday, they booked your hotel, they're back today. The vast majority of hotels, including the major brands, will still just say, do you want to book a room? An OTA would never do that. Google would never do that. Netflix, Amazon, I mean, it's common sense, right? So I think if the hotel direct channel, i.e. the hotel website, continues to just be a brochure, then customers will take that e-commerce experience elsewhere. They'll still stay in your hotel, but it might cost you 20% because the customer has gone to a more effective, more engaging, more relevant e-commerce platform to make the booking.
You've said that websites need to act more like Netflix to succeed, hence the personalization. Can you expand a little bit on that? Knowing exactly, for instance, where you stayed, what your preferences were, et cetera?
So I think the brand.com experience today for hotels is just a brochure with a plug-in booking engine. But retail and e-commerce and other industries has become personalized. Again, take the experience of somebody who books a hotel on a Monday and is back on the website on a Tuesday. Of course, people that have been and stayed are trusted guests. And you can take that relationship in a whole other direction based on the fact that we know and trust one another. Even to the point of standing down the need to painstakingly enter your credit card details on a mobile, right? I mean, sky's the limit, but the irony is that the industry of hospitality is lagging so far behind what is a hospitable user experience, even on a retail site. And that really is the opportunity to take a Netflix or an Amazon type approach.
Why do you think that is? Why are they lagging?
There's a few reasons, I think. One is they have had so much profitability stripped out of the hotel and transferred to third parties. Yeah. Right? These big intermediaries are huge. They are the dominant players. So we're sitting here in London. It's not unusual for a 4- and 5-star hotel in London to be 60, 70% full of 20% commissionable bookings. So the available budget for all things, Wi-Fi, TV, in-room experience, everything, right? It's a real pain point in the industry. And I think there's been some, let's say, legacy technology that's been sort of holding the industry back a little bit.
So if you can help them get rid of that 20%, put that back on their bottom line.
Absolutely. That's the whole aim, right? So where we're really delivering impact is shifting some profitability back to the hotel by taking a customer journey that will ultimately conclude on an OTA, an intermediary online travel agent, pushing that back to a more relevant, more engaging, more personalized brand.com. Ultimately having a profound impact on hotel profitability.
Are you seeing these through some of the larger groups like Marriott Bonvoy and groups, Starwood, et cetera, some of the larger groups like that? Or are you seeing more at the individual hotel level?
We're working mostly with independent and small group hotels at the moment. But it's not to say that even the major brands are delivering the kind of personalized, guest-centric user journey in hospitality that an independent hotel in London is doing. So I think even the major chains have something to learn in terms of, what you should do with somebody who's already booked your hotel and is now repeat visiting.
Curious to find out, we've talked a lot with some of our guests about how important it is for a brand to bring its values and its purpose through into its online commerce and on its website and so forth. Do you see that happening with some of these smaller hotels, some of the hotel chains that you work with that really need to take a stand as far as this is who we are, this is what we believe in for a guest? Mm-hmm. Do you see that coming out, or is it just more, please help us increase our bookings and get rid of the 20%?
That underpins the biggest pain point in the industry, is this need to redress the impact of profit shift away from the hotel and into the hands of third parties. But I think hotels are equally interested in what personalization can do to elevate their brand experience. Right, so based on everything that a user is doing on their website, corporate, leisure. I mean, very often a hotel will be entirely leisure-based on weekends and entirely corporate-based during the week. They'll have weddings and conferences, and those two markets are totally separate. So helping hotels follow the guest, follow the user journey, differentiate and clarify their brand positioning vis-a-vis the user journey, I think is as appealing in terms of what it does to elevate their hospitality brand in a very competitive market.
In the hospitality industry, obviously people have moved from booking through a travel agent to online booking. Do you see the website continuing to be relevant, or do you see it going away with some other technology replacing it?
I think that's a really great question. I think the hotel website will always fill a need. It will always have a purpose in the customer's online travel journey. The risk for the hotel industry is that it just becomes a glorified brochure, right? By not differentiating one visitor from another, you outsource that online user experience, that tailored hospitality experience, to a third party. So while the hotel website will, I think, always remain relevant from an information perspective, the fear and the risk that hoteliers have is that, we will just see a diminishing share of bookings through that channel in favor of better online hospitality being delivered by a third party.
Are some of your clients enjoying the benefits of expanding their reach and perhaps doing some of their own marketing and getting their own bookings as opposed to always going to the third parties?
Yeah, we see a huge opportunity for what we call channel shift. So one of our value propositions in the market is to guarantee a 25% increase in direct bookings from a switch from a brochure website and a plug-in booking engine to something that is really sort of AI, a personalized booking experience. But the real benefit is what that improved conversion does when reinvested back in digital marketing. Because the gap now, as the cost of digital traffic and paid traffic continues to increase, the gap between hotels that can even afford to compete there and cannot is getting wider. So if you can really get conversion, if we imagine that a hotel conversion rate might be struggling at 1%, you really can't afford to top up the traffic when you're leaking 99% of the opportunity. Let's get that 1 to 10. Now you can compete with everybody for premium traffic because you're delivering a really incredible ROI.
Obviously AI, you've embraced it. It's become a big tool for you with your clients. Are there any other technologies that interest you that you could see come into play into that industry?
Voice is going to be really interesting, and I think there are also a couple of players that could stake a claim in travel that have not yet. Amazon will be a big one. I know they're looking. Google have really stepped in with 2 feet now to travel. They provide some incredible customer tools in travel, not just from price comparison to book on Google. And that's really ruffling some feathers because the intermediaries are very big advertisers for Google. But Google's quite a compelling booking channel now, as well as a discovery and an information channel. Voice we will see, but I think the early gains, the immediate gains right now for hotels are to take traffic volumes that they already have and just up their game, shift from one size fits all to a real personalized booking experience.
Is there a book, a blog, or a podcast that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, probably one of each, actually. Well, several books. I think the field that it feels like we're in now is really in this sort of personalized e-commerce. And I think the psychology of e-commerce is a really fascinating space. We're learning all the time, learning a lot from hotels as we begin to engage them in these conversations. So books on neuromarketing, nudging, persuasion, thinking fast and slow, all these books are hugely relevant, I think, not just for us as an e-commerce company, but for hotels to sort of evolve their thinking about the opportunity online. Podcasts I tend to listen to sort of as a separate to work thing, and that's everything from cooking to Eric Weinstein to everything in between.
My guest today has been Frank Reeves, co-founder and CEO of Avvio. Frank, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.